Have you ever wondered why some people go bad? Well, this expert in crime thinks it's all to do with who you hang around with. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bear It In Mind. In this video, we're going to explore a theory of criminal behaviour known as Differential Association Theory, developed by Edwin Sutherland in the late 1930s. This theory proposes that criminal behaviour is learned through interactions with others rather than being something inborn or a result of biology. It emphasises the importance of the people we interact with and how that influences the development of criminal activity. But why is it called Differential Association Theory? Doesn't exactly sound like the friendliest of names. In simple terms, Sutherland proposed that people learn the attitudes, techniques and motivations for criminal behaviour through association and interaction with different people. In other words, you become like the people you hang around with. Societies or communities that normalise or glamorise criminal behaviour create fertile ground for individuals to learn and adopt such behaviours. Hang out with people in Slytherin and you're going to become a Death Eater. Or hang out with Regina George and you'll become a mean girl. Now for context, there are going to be a lot of Harry Potter references in this video, particularly because it's a really helpful example for this theory. But if you're not a Potterhead, here's a quick summary. In the Harry Potter world, there is a wizard school called Hogwarts that has 4 houses. Slytherin is the house you don't want to be in.
Not Slytherin, eh?
This guy was in Slytherin, and it's no spoiler alert to say that he ends up doing some pretty bad things.
Slytherin!
There's not a witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin.
Here are 3 key elements to Sutherland's theory. First, behaviourism and social learning theory. Differential association theory is a terrible name which has left many students pondering what it actually means, but don't let it put you off. In simple terms, it explains crime through all the mechanisms that are involved in any other learning. So think behaviourism and operant conditioning with the work of B.F. Skinner. And this also includes social learning theory with the ideas of Albert Bandura. In terms of behaviourism and operant conditioning, when a behaviour is reinforced, it makes it more likely that it will be repeated. For example, criminal behaviour can be reinforced through positive feedback from peers or group members, such as approval or status gained from committing a crime. In terms of social learning theory and the ideas of Albert Bandura, this is where role models, imitation, identification and vicarious reinforcement come into play. For example, people may learn criminal behaviours by observing and imitating those around them, especially influential figures. And if they see someone else be rewarded for criminal behaviour, that will encourage them to do so too. Secondly, attitudes. Central to Sutherland's theory are the attitudes individuals hold towards certain behaviours. Pro-criminal attitudes are where people justify or promote criminal behaviour. For example, believing that theft is acceptable if it benefits you. In contrast, anti-criminal attitudes discourage or condemn criminal behaviour. For example, believing that theft is morally wrong.
What's the use in being a disgrace to the name of wizard if they don't even pay you well for it?
We have a very different idea about what disgraces the name of wizard, Malfoy.
Clearly.
According to Sutherland, individuals are more likely to commit crimes if they are exposed to a greater number of pro-criminal attitudes than anti-criminal attitudes. Third, Sutherland introduced 4 key factors that influence how criminal behaviour is learned. Frequency. The more often a person interacts with others who engage in criminal behaviour, the more likely they are to adopt those behaviours. Duration. The longer the exposure to criminal influences, the greater the likelihood of learning criminal behaviour. Intensity. The emotional significance of these relationships also plays a role. Strong emotional bonds with pro-criminal individuals can lead to a higher likelihood of adopting criminal behaviours. Priority. The significance of the relationships in a person's life matters. Early interactions with, for example, family and close friends have a greater impact on shaping behaviour than later associations. In summary, according to Sutherland, the social environment plays a critical role in shaping attitudes toward crime. If individuals grow up in an environment where criminal behaviour is normalised or rewarded, they're more likely to adopt those behaviours themselves. Now we come to a remarkable piece of research given the fancy title of the Cambridge Study in Delinquency Development, conducted by this guy, David Farrington, and his colleagues. This was a very significant study that began in the early 1960s and continued all the way into the 2000s. It aimed, as the name suggests, to investigate the development of delinquency over time, delinquency being minor crimes often committed by young people, such as underage drinking and smoking, minor theft and vandalism. So what did they do? Well, they followed 411 boys who at the beginning of the study were all living in a working class, deprived, inner city area of South London. They began collecting data when the boys were around 8 years old and continued through their adolescence and into adulthood with multiple follow-ups conducted at different ages. The researchers conducted structured interviews and questionnaires with parents and teachers to gather information about the boys' behaviour, their family backgrounds and their social influences. They also accessed official criminal records to document criminal behaviour over time. What they found was that by the end of the study, 41% of the participants had at least one conviction. But most interesting of all was that they identified various risk factors associated with criminal behaviour, including family background. Boys from disrupted families where there were issues such as parental conflict or a history of criminality were more likely to engage in delinquent behaviour. Peer influence. Association with delinquent peers was a significant predictor of offending, with boys who had friends involved in crime being more likely to engage in similar behaviours. School performance. Poor academic performance and low levels of school correlated with higher levels of delinquency. Boys who were disengaged with school were more likely to offend. This research strengthens Sutherland's differential association theory because it suggests that offenders will come from families and groups who have pro-criminal attitudes and who carry out criminal activities themselves. One of the main strengths of differential association theory is its ability to explain a wide range of crimes. If criminal behaviour is learned from those you associate with, people whose friends and family come from more disadvantaged backgrounds are more likely to commit crimes such as burglary, shoplifting and vandalism. In contrast, people who spend their time associating with middle-class people in more white-collar jobs are more likely to be involved in crimes such as fraud, identity theft and insider trading. Different types of crime, but explained through the same processes. However, one of the main limitations of differential association theory is its overemphasis on nurture. This is because the theory puts the emphasis on how crime is learned through environmental factors, such as the friends and family you associate with and learn from. However, much research has pointed to how criminal behaviour is not just nurture, but nature and nurture interacting with one another. You may remember the study by Caspi et al. In 2002, who found that if a child had the low activity MAOA gene, they are much more likely to develop antisocial behaviour problems if they also had experienced maltreatment. It's biology plus the environment. It's nature and nurture. You can have the biological factor, but there's also an environmental component. And finally, differential association theory can be criticised for being socially sensitive. This means that while psychological research can be used for human good, that same research can potentially be applied in ways that can cause harm. Well, how does that relate to differential association theory? This is because it suggests that if you are brought up living in a certain city or town, perhaps where crime rates are higher, you are more likely to be a criminal yourself because these are the people you associate with. This could lead to the stereotyping of people who come from these types of backgrounds, and once people know your background, they could be more likely to deny you opportunities, like at a job interview. Not because you've committed a crime yet, but because they believe you're very likely to. Next, we're going to shift the focus of explaining crime from the environment and the people around us to right into your mind, to the very thoughts you think. In fact, one theory suggests that some criminals fall into the trap of one particular type of bias where they don't even think they've done anything wrong. To watch that video, you can click on the screen now or link below, and for more resources related to psychology, check out the Bear It In Mind website. I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.